morning and a very warm welcome. You're watching JanataTelevision and this is the English Bulletin with me, Sushan Dhakal. The top stories first. UML says over 24 leaders involved in activities against the party leadership seeks clarification from them within 3 days. Coronavirus cases continue to surge across the country. Government confirms more than 1,600 new cases. Maoist Center decides to form a new government. Party says a decision will be taken soon. US jury finds former police officer guilty of murder. The verdict prompts celebratory scenes outside the court. And all 6 Premier League teams withdraw from European Super League. The move comes after widespread condemnation from all quarters. And now the news in detail. The ruling Nepal Communist Party UML has sought clarifications from 27 leaders of the Federal Parliament and 5 leaders of Provincial Assembly for their alleged involvement against the party leadership. The leaders who belong to Madhav Kumar Nepal faction have been asked to submit their clarifications within 3 days. In the letter sent to the leaders, UML has accused them of opening a new party. In this context, UML has asked them why should the party not remove them from the post of MPs. UML Office Secretary Ishwari Rijal said that the leaders were asked to submit a clarification as per the UML's amended statute of 2071 and the Act related to political parties 2073. Prior to this, UML had also sought clarifications from Leader Nepal, Bhim Rawal, Kansyam Bhusal and Surendra Pandey. The government yesterday confirmed 1,667 new cases of coronavirus across the country. The daily infection rate was 1,227 a day ago. Following the latest round of tests, the total cases of coronavirus in the country have climbed to 287,567, while the number of active cases has increased to 8,659 from the overnight tally of 7,254. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, altogether 275,806 infected persons have recovered from the disease in the country so far. The death toll from coronavirus has climbed to 3,102 following the deaths of 11 more patients yesterday. Nepal is currently among the top 56 countries that have been most affected by the pandemic. The USA tops the list with over 32.53 million confirmed cases, followed by India with over 15.6 million cases. Coronavirus has infected more than 143.53 million people across the world and claimed 3.05 million lives. A meeting of the chief district officers of Kathmandu, Lalitpur and Bhaktapur has decided to effectively implement the decisions taken by the government to curb the coronavirus. The meeting held yesterday concluded that there was a need for more publicity to create awareness among the people. The government has instructed stakeholders to close educational institutes, and the public has been told not to gather in masses following a surge in COVID-19 infections. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. The NCP Maoist Center has decided to remove the current government and replace it with a pro-democracy government as soon as possible. A meeting of the party's standing committee held at the party's central office in Paris-Dana on Tuesday said that the current government was inviting external intervention to undermine national sovereignty and has decided to take steps to form a pro-democracy government soon, said spokesperson Naren Kaji Shrestha. The meeting also directed the party leaders and cadres to work for facilitation to prevent the spread of COVID-19 as the second wave of the virus has hit the country. Stating that the government is not serious about the control and management of COVID-19 infection, the meeting also called on the government to implement the behaviors it has declared. The meeting of the Standing Committee will resume today at 1 p.m. Spokesperson Shrestha informed that the party's constitution amendment and other issues will be discussed in the meeting today. And now the news from the economic front. Mid-Bhotekosi hydropower project is set to issue IPO worth Rs 1.5 billion. The company, with a capacity of 102 megawatts under construction in Sindhupalchok, is going to issue 5 million shares to the locals and the general public. The company plans to issue 10% shares to the locals in the first phase and 15% shares to the general public in the second phase. The company has been given the permission by the Nepal Securities Board to issue its IPO. Global IME Capital is acting as the sales manager for the IPO. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back, and now the international news. A U.S. jury has found a former police officer guilty of murder over the death of African-American George Floyd on a Minneapolis street last year. Derek Chauvin, 45, was filmed kneeling on Floyd's neck for more than 9 minutes during his arrest last May. According to BBC, the widely watched footage sparked worldwide protests against racism and excessive use of force by police. Chauvin was found guilty on 3 charges: second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and manslaughter. He will remain in custody until he is sentenced and could spend decades in jail. The 12-member jury took less than a day to reach the verdict, which followed a highly charged 3-week trial that left Minneapolis on the edge. The verdict prompted celebratory scenes outside the court, where several hundred people cheered as it was announced. The Floyd family's lawyer, Ben Crump, said it marked a turning point in history for the U.S. "Painfully earned justice has finally arrived," he tweeted. "It sends a clear message on the need for accountability of law enforcement." You're watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. All 6 Premier League teams involved in the European Super League have formally withdrawn from the competition. According to the BBC, Manchester City were the first club to pull out after Chelsea has signalled their intent to do so by preparing documentation to withdraw. The other 4 sides, Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United and Tottenham, have all now followed suit. The 12-team Super League was announced on Sunday to widespread condemnation. Manchester City confirmed they have formally enacted the procedures to withdraw from the Super League. Liverpool reportedly said their involvement in the proposed breakaway league has been discontinued. Manchester United said they had listened carefully to the reaction from their fans, the UK government and other key stakeholders in making their decision to not take part. According to BBC, Arsenal apologized in an open letter to their fans and said they had made a mistake. Chelsea confirmed they have begun the formal procedures for withdrawal from the group that they only joined late last week. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin, and the headlines once again. UML says over 24 leaders involved in activities against party leadership, seeks clarification from them within 3 days. Coronavirus cases continue to surge across the country. Government confirms more than 1,600 new cases. Maoist Center decides to form a new government. Party says a decision will be taken soon. U.S. jury finds former police officer guilty of murder. The verdict prompts celebratory scenes outside the court. And all 6 Premier League teams withdraw from European Super League. The move comes after widespread condemnation from all quarters. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.